Okay, welcome everybody to the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Emily Gulmer and a podcast engineer here, and excited to bring you another episode of the World of Nutrition with Marilyn Meyer out of Hawaii. The show is about nutrition, lifestyle things, which is every month on the second Friday of the month. So I'm gonna pass it over to Marilyn to kick us off and introduce our couple of great guests today. So, hi Marilyn, good to see you
Aloha.
again.
Yes, thanks so much, Emily. We appreciate you. And today I have two amazing guests. So thank you so much for being on. Our first guest, Vince Abramo. She holds a master's degree in public administration and a bachelor's in intercommunication and public relations from the University of Hawaii with certifications in conflict resolution, nonprofit management, and volunteer management. Vince is a certified coach and trainer through the John Maxwell team, brain health coaching through Amen University, neuroencoding, and an International Coaching Federation, ACC coach. Specializing in leadership and personal development, Vince is dedicated to fostering harmony within small businesses through effective inter and intra communication. Thank you so much, Vince, for being here.
Aloha. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, so please share with us a little bit more about what you do.
So I'm probably renaming my title. I introduced myself as a communication and conflict resolution coach, but now I'm thinking that I'm an individual and organizational peace specialist. And what I do is essentially help people with their communication, whether it is public speaking, and maybe 1 out of 10 of my clients will be on stage, and maybe they'll get to the TEDx stage, but most of them are struggling to even have a meeting in a regular work environment. And that's where they struggle with being themselves or giving a report. And then I work all the way up to organizations that have a lot of conflict in their organization. And so I bring a lot of the techniques that I've learned in neuroscience, leadership, and communication, and see where we can have more psychological harmony in the workplace.
That's so beautiful. I would love to hear some examples of how you've helped different individuals or even companies.
Sure. I can give several examples, and I love it when my clients check back on me. I just had a session today with one woman who's been with me for several years, and she was shy, and she was told by her supervisor, if you don't speak up during meetings, you're going to get fired. This was 3 years ago, and she works for a huge software company up in Washington. And fast forward to 3 years later, in February, she spoke to 200 students at the University of Washington, and now she has her own YouTube channel. She's now pursuing her yoga certificate, and then she'll be doing a yoga class with my platform as well. So she is really doing it, and she's finally becoming more and more independent and more confident, and she is looking to do her first solo trip that she's ever done in her whole life. She's always had a man plan for it, go with her, and now she's doing this by herself. And the other example I have is a young man, and he was struggling, and he's okay with me sharing. He has written about 4 books now. He's a slam poet, but the funny thing is, he would never get on stage to do the slam poetry. So he said, I just need to get a book out. He got his first book out, and then he just rolled with it. And then he's making t-shirts, he's creating avatars. He's going to go to Vietnam, work with a lot of kids and creatives to really put out his brand. And that's called The Broken Graduate, and his frustrations of growing up after college. So that's been eye-opening and wonderful to see him grow up in that way. And working with a lot of organizations. My specialty seems to be accounting firms. And I think it's because it's high stress. So, accounting firm owner came to me and she was taking all of my courses. And eventually she said, you know what, we need to bring you in. And she had about 3 people who left her in one day and right before the tax time. And the operations director says, if you don't get someone in here to help us, I'm going to leave. And this was her right-hand man. And she was really devastated to hear that. So they brought me in for training, and 2 years later, now a lot of her employees, and it's 90%, I'm not going to guarantee everybody stays, right? 90% of her employees stayed. And now she knows like when to be okay, when it's like very hard, she can rely on somebody else. And she needs to know when she steps back, she doesn't have to yell at everybody, right? Actually, I don't encourage anyone to yell at anyone at work. So she now her employees come back to me and say, she doesn't yell at us anymore. She's a lot more calm. So that's like the best news, is to hear from other people on how the owners are doing.
That is so amazing. And I'm curious, please share with us, like I've known you forever as a conflict resolution coach. So what led you or nudged you into the new role with, you said peacemaking?
Peace specialist.
Peace specialist, excuse me. So please share
Yeah.
with us how you came up with that.
It's actually one of my mentors, and he's probably about 15 years younger than me, and he's a professor at the University of Hawaii in Manoa. And he uses that, and I said, I need to use that too, because when someone tells you that you're a peacemaker, I'm like, that's okay. I'm not into the whole like woo-woo stuff all the time. So some people step back when I say I'm a peacemaker. So, but a peace specialist, wow, that's just so eye-opening, right? And how can that move in different parts of industries with other people? Like you can see peace specialists in so many different ways. So that I'm like embracing that, and I'm going to see how that bounces with everyone, because I've been using culture, organizational coach, harmony architect, all of those things. But I think peace specialist is a really good one.
I really think that I resonate with that, Vince. So I think that you embody that as well. And the way that you are being, like, with BNI, Women of the World, our Kupuna, like all the different organizations that you've linked arms with and, help to move into peace. I think that's so beautiful. So who would be like a good referral for you or a good connection for you?
A good connection for me is anyone that is really struggling. I've been working with a lot of immigrants because of their accents, and having that difficulty coming into America and getting used to the American accent, because a lot of them are shut out of a lot of meetings because they don't feel like they belong. Or even having people that are from the South or the East Coast, or even when people have pidgin and they just want to bring out that proper English, I can help them out with that. Or a business owner that's really frustrated with their staff, or their staff is a revolving door, I can help out with that. So those are 2 things that I'm looking for.
Yeah, that is amazing. I just love that. And I recall you now saying that you help with people who have that accent and things like that. So that is really helpful, especially here in Hawaii, because there's just so many people that are coming here from all over the world. And I love that, how you're helping with that. Gosh, I just love learning from you. So this is, World of nutrition for your body, mind, and soul. Please share a little bit on how you help with, I believe that you help so much with the mind. So how is nutrition for your mind? Like, how do you embody that?
So I do have my training through Dr. Amen University, and he believes that when we look at a person, we tend to blame a lot of their personality or the way that they behave on that person. But what we want to look at is their brain. So I do have also clients that have ADHD and autism and many diagnoses as that. And the whole thing is they can always heal their brain. They can always increase the capacity of their brain. Even when someone has Alzheimer or someone has lost memory or PTSD or has addiction or anything like that, or head trauma, a lot of them see that their brain is not working. Maybe there's something that's not right. Maybe it's switched over, that they're a totally different person now. And accepting that maybe it needs to be helped with their brain. And he's a psychiatrist. So he does believe in therapy. He does believe in a lot of holistic supplements and thinking about how to use your brain to heal yourself, right? If you heal your brain, you heal the world. That's just the most amazing thing. So no matter how much you have injured your brain, whether it's taking the wrong food or even eating like a lot of like bad food, your brain shrinks, by the way. The more weight you gain, by the way, everyone, the more weight you gain, the smaller your brain shrinks. But you can increase your brain by eating healthier, right? And taking really proper supplements. And the two things he recommends is multivitamin and fish oil. So those are the two things every day. If you can just do those two things, it's so beneficial for you. And of course, exercising every single day and making sure that you eliminate your negative thoughts.
Yes. Oh, that just reminded me. You have an amazing training called ANTS. So I would
Yes.
love for you to summarize a little bit for the listeners. What are ANTS and how can we, be aware of them?
Yes. So there's so many different types of ants. There's the should ant, right? The ones that are the guilt beating ants. I should have done this. I could have done that, right? And
And explain
those
what
are,
ANTS is first. Sorry.
oh, sorry. Oh, it's ants are automatic negative thoughts. These are thoughts that are in your head. Thank you, Marilyn. That come so quickly that you don't even notice them, and they happen within seconds. And we have been trained in our brain to take in these negative thoughts so quickly, and that we have to remember that we need to switch it over. And with negative thoughts, there's so many different types of ants. So the ants, we want to always kill them. We want to squash those ants, right? So the trick is to really think about that negative thought that you're having, and you want to label that negative thought. And the example that I first used was the guilt beating ant. I should have done that. I could have done this. But when in reality is that when you take a look at it, it's a shoulda, coulda, woulda. And well, at this point, right now, you can. So go ahead and do it, and you can, right? You don't have to look at the past. You can move forward. And we utilize Byron Katie, what loving what is, the 4 questions. So with your negative thought, can you know it's really true? Can you know it's true? And the second question is it really true? And the third question is, how do you feel with that negative thought, and embody that negative thought? How do you feel about that negative thought? And then on the fourth question, that's the key. That's the real key about the negative thought, is to turn it around. And what you need to ask yourself is, how do I feel without the thought? So without the thought of guilting myself, I feel free. I feel better about myself. I can do that. I will go out and walk. So that's how simple those 4 questions are. And moving from there, there's a lot of different cognitive behavior therapies that we also utilize, but that's just one of those.
Yeah, that is one of my favorites. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it reminds me of if what will we do? What will we take action on if we knew other people, including ourselves, wouldn't criticize us?
Mhm.
There's so many things that we could do that's possible, and our thoughts are holding us back, or our what we think of, what other people may think of us.
Yeah,
And so just asking ourselves those 4 questions, I love that so much, Vince.
I love
Yeah.
it too. So easy. And it goes for when you're angry with someone, right? You're blaming the other person, or you're trying to build up your defenses, right? And you're ready to attack, or you're going to run the other way. By the way, that's like the worst thing to do when you are in a conflict, is to run away. You want to engage in conflict. And you're like, oh, okay, how am I with the thought of this person really being irritating to me? And then, is it really true? No, it's not true that she's always irritating. Is it really, really true? No, she's actually really loving. And how am I with that thought? I feel like I don't love that person, but how am I without the thought? Well, I accept her for what she is. Like, she really does matter in my life. So you can use that 4 questions so easily with relationships too.
I love that. And, just also taking responsibility, even separating the what happened from the meaning that we put to what happened.
Mhm.
I've been guilty of that myself. So yes,
Oh,
just
yes.
noticing what I'm noticing and knowing that I am responsible for everything that I feel.
Yes. And that's it. That's the key. You are responsible for what you feel. You can't control everyone. There's no way you can control anyone. And that's what people feel like that they can do in a conflict. But they're never going to have the same beliefs or thoughts or being. They don't know what it is like to be you or to have your thoughts. So accepting that and then really listening and having that ability to do active listening with that person is so necessary.
Something that I would love for you to touch on, one last thing is
Mhm.
when I've taught my children, so every time that I get upset or angry, I have taught them to ask me, what are you upset at yourself about? So
Mm.
bringing it back to me and how I'm creating this, like, what kind of tips would you give for parents that are dealing with, that are dealing with issues that they are reflecting to themselves that are coming up from their children?
Mm. Um, I do recommend the stop technique. This is another CBT moment. So this is from the Neuroencoding Institute. So see, the stop technique is stopping that. Also, you're stopping that reaction that you're going to have, right? About yourself or about another person. So you need to move yourself and you need to move your body in order to switch that thinking. And a lot of other coaches have these, like Mel Robbins, the 5 4 3 2 1, right? So this one is making sure you stop that thought and say to yourself, stop. And then you need to stand up and then you pat yourself on the back because you've stopped that negative thought. What you want to do is create that scotoma in your brain. And this is what I do in with a whole organization. You want to stop that negative thought about the other coworker in that workplace right now. And then you want to fill that scotoma, that hole in your brain, and allow other things to get inside, right? And what you need to fill it with is memory. And these are called glimmers, right? This is a Australian word that came out. Instead of triggers, we want to name it the opposite, which is a glimmer. And the glimmers are the memories that you've had of joy, of love, of accomplishment, of being proud, and capture that memory and then utilize that, put that scotoma, fill that hole in your brain with that thought, with that memory. And then you can feel it in your whole body. And then you can move forward.
Oh my gosh, I love that glimmer. We're gonna start using that word.
Yes.
Let's all start using glimmer from now on. Please tell us, Vince, how can people find you or get in touch with you, get in contact with you?
Sure. You can get on all my social media platforms. I think if I can remember, Bamboo Shoot High HI on IG and TikTok, and on Facebook it's Bamboo Shoot. And I also have my website, Bamboo Shoot. Is that easy?
I love it. Yeah, it's perfect. So yes, if you are looking for a peace specialist, please reach out to Vince. She is amazing, and she is an amazing collaborator and coach, and I just love her so much. Thank you so much, Vince, for being here. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you so much, Marilyn. I love being with you.
Same. All right, now we have another guest who I absolutely love too. We have met from Business Networking International, and let me introduce her. So over the span of 30 years, Claire has helped hundreds of businesses in various aspects. She's served as an accountant, business consultant, and now she is a business coach. She took a break from social media for nearly a year, and this is her first live appearance. So how blessed are we? So blessed. I'm so happy to have you here, Claire. Thank you so much for being here. Please share with us what you do and just your heart to help and serve.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Marilyn, for inviting us. And Vince, oh my goodness. It's like this was so in alignment with what I'm going to talk about. And it's like absolutely amazing. I mean, all the time, Marilyn knows it's just always in sync, synchronicities. I mean, I love studying the brain. You talked about accounting firms being stressful. I could totally resonate with, you know, decades and decades of being in the accounting industry. And then I love that, eliminating negative thoughts. But yeah, I feel like it's so in alignment. I'm gonna share my screen real quick to just talk story. And I love pictures. Like I'm a visual person, so I love using pictures to talk or share about what I see in my head anyway. So here we go. Okay. If it goes, yes, okay. All right, so yes, thank you, Marilyn, for talking about that, about my 1 year, basically almost a year in the cocoon, like really focusing on myself. I feel like I had an opportunity to really like shine a light of awareness on me. So yes, I've had 30 years of helping small businesses, big businesses, all types of businesses. I oversaw like multi-million-dollar contracts, or even from the aspect of like $1 trillion nonprofit that I helped with. But my real heart, what I realized was as an accountant was was the small businesses. I'm the type of person, like I want to dive deep and really help them. And I got to go and do home visits. I would actually rarely ever do accountants go to the homes, but I really wanted to see like their family, or how could I maximize their tax refunds, stuff like that. So it really lit me up. Like that's how I became really passionate about small businesses, because I got to see their homes, I got to see their family, I got to see their kids. And I really saw how small businesses really are the fabric of our community. You know, I got to see them in their own space. And I also realized that even though I was an accountant or wearing the accountant hat, what happens was I would see their mindset issues and how they would like their limiting beliefs and how they would hold themselves back in their business. And then I also, I'm not certified or anything, but I ended up helping a lot of married couples. Because yes, owning a small business can be stressful, and yes, it can affect your relationship. So, well, even though I was an accountant, I sometimes was a counselor, but I loved it. And so I got to know people on a deeper level. On the outside, a lot of times they seem really like successful and they seem really happy. But on the inside, what I've learned as they started to trust me and open up and just really be vulnerable, I realized that yes, a lot of them have relationship issues. A lot of them are stressed and tired, and I'm gonna say it, feeling crappy. So yeah, this is like my avatar client. This is a lot of the clients that I've worked with is Peg. I'll name her Peg. She's the yes girl. She is like accountable. She gets stuff done. She juggles like family, friends, work, everything. But underneath it all, she's really exhausted. She's feeling stressed. She has anxiety and she can't sleep. And so Peg is, because she can't say no, she's basically a people pleaser. She doesn't want to be party pooper Peg, so she says yes, even though sometimes she really doesn't want to, because she really wants to be liked, and she even wants to be liked on social media. So I mean, shining the light on social media and how I've taken a break on it for over it or nearly a year is another like game changer for me. And I'll talk about that in a bit too. But for Peg, she wants to speak her truth, but she's so afraid. She actually complains, but sometimes disguises them as prayer requests. And I'm speaking from my own experience, like, please pray for me. So and so did this to me. So and so did that to me. And I love how Vince talked about that, like throwing the blame on someone else, but it's really like not taking responsibility, right? And yeah, I see this a lot. And then inner conflict because she really can't speak her truth. So there's this conflict inside that she's not feeling good inside of her own skin. And I've had a lot of my clients call it brain fog. They can't even have clarity on stuff because they just feel like, I don't know, they just call it brain fog. So what she does is she numbs out and avoids boredom. And this was me as a kid. I couldn't go anywhere without something to do, something to distract me, something to keep me from not being bored. And I realized that, and now with social media, I mean, kids, young adults, we can't be without our phone sometimes. And sometimes it's like our numb out time. And if you start studying more on the social media effects on us as a person and us really being in touch with ourselves, social media has a lot to do with it. But yeah, because that was me. I was avoiding boredom. So is Peg. She likes to stay busy, so she hustles and she does. And social media, as I mentioned, she watches what people are doing, and then secretly she's in her subconscious, in her mind, she's comparing herself to other people and wants to keep up with the Joneses. So it's like buying more things or going on certain trips to be like other people because they've gone there, and thinking if only I blank, if only I get this certification, or if only I get that type of car, or if only I go here or there, then I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna feel better, So it's always that, I call it that thirsty energy. But basically, Peg is avoiding herself. And like I said, I speak from experience. So Peg's routine is at night, she cannot sleep. So she'll like scroll on social media. She's worried about what people think of her, and the stories in her head spiral. Like, I love how Vince was talking about that. Like you think, oh man, that person irritates me. And then all of a sudden these stories spiral out of control. Like if that happens to you, you're not the only one. It happens to a lot of us. So yeah, she scrolls on her phone, she's shopping to escape, she's trying to fill that void inside of her. Social media is another thing that she scrolls on and wakes up abruptly, heart racing, feels like there's just this adrenaline rush. And it's this, as I've studied from like Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this chemical addiction and how we're addicted to this feeling. And I never thought of it or thought I was guilty of that, but my own closest family members, my kids, aka adult kids, told me like, Mom, you're addicted to drama. And I was like, no, no ways. But I was pegged, just not aware of myself. And yeah, just really waking up with my heart racing, feeling stressed and anxiety and anxious and all that stuff. And as I started to study deeper on this, I realized it's because of our bucket of emotions. And I don't know about you, but I was told as a kid, like stuff like big girls don't cry, crying is for blank, whatever that may be to you, crying is for wussies or whatever. Just sweep it under the rug, be tough, be a good girl. And of course, I want to be loved and accepted by my family. So I just suppressed, suppressed. And that is exactly what happens to what I call the bucket of emotions, like unprocessed emotions. Anytime we're feeling these negative feelings, it's just, and we don't process it, it's going into the bucket. And that was me. I didn't realize I was suppressing. And if you study on that too, Google it, suppression leads to depression. And we wonder why our society is filled with people that are just feeling really depressed. It's this bucket of emotions. So, and then we try to suppress it more by the addiction to social media. But anyway, boom, this is what happens. The bucket cannot handle anymore. Like at some point, crap hits the fan. Um, stuff happens and the bucket spills. Suddenly, like she's Peg is crying for no, like something really small, no apparent big reason. And she's like wondering why all of a sudden she's releasing all of this emotions and she's feeling a bit anxious. Usually, I love how Vince said, don't run from it, because usually that was me. I would like, I'm out. I don't want to deal with this stuff. But now that where I am now, I realize this is a beautiful opportunity. This is a great wake up call. This is an opportunity to really like explore and love yourself. So I get a lot of urgent calls from people that are experiencing this. They're just like, what the heck is happening? And at first they're afraid to share because they have this facade, right? This act like, oh, everything's good. Um, but nothing surprises me, guys. There's no judgment. I've been through so much crap. I've seen so much crap that I just want people to know that they're not alone and there's a safe space. And I love Marilyn. I love talking story with Marilyn because she's so good at creating this safe space. And this is exactly what I feel like this podcast is. Marilyn, you hold space really well for us to just come and be vulnerable and authentic and share our stories and stuff like that. But anyway, that's the type of calls I get, and really want people to know that there's safe spaces for them. There's safe places to go and be vulnerable. And at this point, when all the stuff hits the fan, the emotions they're starting to come out of your bucket, it's a beautiful opportunity to choose. And each person gets to make that choice. Like they get to either continue on that path to avoid and suppress, continue to have that facade or that fake everything is okay. They can continue on, with this routine of their daily routine of kind of avoiding their feelings. And to be honest, the whole world doesn't need to know. And this is what I was afraid of. If I had alone time with myself, man, it's so embarrassing. Everybody's gonna know whatever I am, you know? But only thing that really matters is you. Stop hiding from you. And that's what I needed to focus on, was to just stop running from me and to have that quiet time and time for myself. So you get to choose, like, do you want to continue on that outward focus where it's all about the hustle and avoiding really like your authentic self? Or do you want to go inward and spend time with yourself? And at first, you're going to subconsciously like fight it. You're going to want to distract or suppress, or, say, I got too many other things to do. I can't spend time with myself. But really, you know what, that's so worth it. You're so worth it. And it's really brave to actually do that. And it's commendable. And I have testimony after testimony of how it changes your life by going inward. And so I want to share some of my biggest mind shifts as I explored and as I worked with people. Is I used to be all about that hustle. I used to think hustle life was, damn, that's how to be, That's the boss babe, right? And I used to be all about taking massive imperfect action, but not realizing that's just you on a hamster wheel versus just being you, just being in flow and enjoying your journey here on earth, that we're not here to hustle and like be in a rush to go anywhere. Just us being here is amazing. And then I was also taught to respect authority. And yeah, I get it. We don't want to be disrespectful, but I gave away a lot of my power because people used to should on me, like you should do this, you shouldn't do that. And I'm the captain of my ship. And once I realized that I took responsibility, that was a big mind shift. Another thing is I used to because I grew up with a lot of gossip around my family and comparing, that would keep me up at night. I used to want to make sure everybody's happy and that I impress them and that they're not gossiping about me. But really, and that's what kept me up at night, and that's what keeps a lot of my clients and pegs up at night. But really, Nanya is my favorite thing now, because it's none of your business what I do, and it's none of my business what you think of me. You can think whatever you want to think, and it's none of my business. Freedom, freedom. Like, I love that. And then happiness is an inside job, instead of trying to find things to make us happy or find places that will make us happy. Happiness is here inside, Self-love is so, so, so important. And so in closing, and I chose this picture because Marilyn was there videotaping me speak, and Vince was sitting next to me. So I love, first of all, surrounding myself with amazing, positive women just like this, the high vibe women. And I love teaching people to deal with, I used to call them triggers. And I love how Vince talked about that glimmer, was that the word, glimmer? Yeah. Versus I used to like avoid conflict, but I love those opportunities, now. And then I love helping business owners gain clarity in their business and their personal life. Because once you get that clear intention, boom, it's like magic happens. And then I love helping people live in that authentic, and oh man, my spelling was authentic, aligned, abundant life, and just having fun, enjoying our life here. And oh, I don't know if you want to hear about my book that I have that they can download. It's $27 and it comes with videos where I go deeper into all of this. It's like a life and business playbook. But yeah, that's it. Marilyn, you got any? Let's talk story.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Oh, I have all these little things that I want to add. Well, first of all, I want to just thank you. I have this bracelet that Claire made for me. When I told her 2023 into the very like November 2023 that my word of the year for 2024 is liberty. And we have been in 2024. It's fantastic, right? And then I wanted to also share and just be a little bit vulnerable. Like, yeah, sometimes we have to take some times for ourselves so that we can reflect and be able to heal and move past it. So, as I am navigating through a divorce, like when the kids are not with me on the weekends, that's when I am like, okay, this is my time for me, and really dig deep and journal and notice what I'm noticing and just cry it out and heal. And I've done a lot of healing on the weekends, and that is my time to be, you know, with myself and discover like who I really am and move towards the preferred. So it's not, I'm gonna say it wasn't pretty, especially in the beginning, just crying all the time, every weekend. However, it's like I'm noticing what I'm noticing. And then in 2024, it's just like, oh my gosh, like things are just starting to happen. The things that I wrote when I was working with Claire like 2, 3 years ago, they're starting to come into fruition in 2024. And I'm like just thrilled, it's just all these things are happening for us. And Claire and I mean, we talk all the time, we text every day, and just encourage each other, right? So I'm just so thankful that you have shared your heart and you being vulnerable with us, Claire, and just sharing like, yeah, you were pig, I was pig, right? We're all like, we didn't know what we knew, and we lived in a world full of like crabs in a bucket. Like, okay, well, we have to keep each other down because that's how we can be safe. And then it's like, we don't have to. We can create the life that we would love, the world that we want to create. And Vince is doing it, you're doing it, Claire, and I'm just like so thrilled to be watching all of us just grow and lift. The rising tide lifts all ships, so we're all helping each other and being a lighthouse, right? So I love that word, lighthouse. Yeah.
Love it. Yes, thank you, Marilyn. Amazing.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to share?
No, I just feel so grateful to be here today and this is where I'm coming out of my cocoon, basically. Still don't have some of my social media up yet. But yeah, this was my outlet, my coming back.
Yes, I love that. And please, if people are able to find you on a website, please share your website.
Yeah, bizcoachclaire.com. So bizcoachclaire.com. And yeah, follow me. I've been very active on YouTube. I just started posting. I love doodling and talking stories. So I have short videos that are like 1 minute, and just these little points that I talked about today are all like coming out. So yeah, follow me on YouTube, Biz Coach Claire.
Yes, and we will post all of Biz Coach Claire and Vince's links in the bio. So thank you for that. And I just wanted to thank Mutual Aid Network for just supporting this podcast, World of Nutrition. I'm just really so thankful. And what Mutual Aid Network does is it takes all of our strengths from as people, as humans in the world, and we can trade and share all of our strengths with each other. Like for me, I love hosting Zoom karaoke. And so that's how I contribute, right? And so other people know how to create websites. So they'll create websites, and we'll be able to trade our time to just help make the world a better place. So I just love Mutual Aid Network. And then also frequency infused nutrition. I am so thrilled to have just found a company that really cares about mental wellness and helps to bring our bodies back to the frequency that it needs to be at. And I'm just loving the nootropics. It's for your brain and it's creativity, focus. Claire and I drink it and we just have the best conversations ever. It's like a mastermind every single time. And so just really, really thrilled. So if you would like more information on that, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to just educate you a little bit more. And I am just so thankful to Vince and Claire. Again, thank you so much for being on the World of Nutrition. And we look forward to seeing you next month.
Aloha.